This is Jocko Podcast number 105 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
Specialist Vieira was witness to scenes of horror. The enemy was all over, at least a couple hundred of them walking around for 3 or 4 minutes. It seemed like 3 or 4 hours. They were shooting and machine gunning our wounded and laughing and giggling. I knew they'd kill me if they saw I was alive. When they got near, I played dead. I kept my eyes open and stared at a small tree. I knew that dead men had their eyes open. Vieira continues. Then one of the North Vietnamese came up, looked at me, then kicked me, and I flopped over. I guess he thought I was dead. There was blood running out of my mouth, my arm, my legs. He took my watch and my .45 caliber pistol and walked on. I watched them strip off all our weapons. They left back where they came from. I remember the artillery, the bombs, the napalm everywhere, real close around me. It shook the ground underneath me. But it was coming in on the North Vietnamese soldiers too. All this and more, much more, took place between 6:50 a.m. and 7:40 a.m. on November 15th, 1965. The agonies of Charlie Company occurred over 140 yards of the line. But men were fighting and dying on 3 sides of our thinly held American perimeter. In the center, I held the lives of all of these men in my hands. The badly wounded Captain Bob Edwards was on the radio now asking for reinforcements. The only reserve I had was a reconnaissance platoon, 22 men. Was the attack on Charlie Company the main enemy threat? Delta Company and the combined mortar position were also under attack now. Reluctantly, I told Captain Edwards that his company would have to fight on alone for the time being. The din of the battle was unbelievable. Rifles and machine guns and mortars and grenades rattled, banged, and boomed. 2 batteries of 105mm howitzers, 12 big guns located on another landing zone 5 miles distant were firing non-stop, their shells exploding no more than 50 yards outside the ring of shallow foxholes. Beside me, in the battalion command post, the Air Force Forward Controller, Lieutenant Charlie W. Hastings, 26 from La Mesa, New Mexico, radioed a special code word, Broken Arrow, meaning American unit in danger of being overrun. And within a short period of time, every available fighter-bomber in South Vietnam was stacked overhead at 1,000-foot intervals from 7,000 feet to 35,000 feet, waiting its turn to deliver bombs and napalm to the battlefield. Among my sergeants, there were 3 war men who parachuted into Normandy on D-Day and had survived the war in Korea. And those old veterans were shocked by the savagery and hellish noise of this battle. Choking clouds of smoke and dust obscured the killing ground. We were dry-mouthed, and our bowels churned with fear, and still the enemy came on in waves.